Welcome back to Big 'em Up Dollar Bin Beats, where we review the best in dollar bin, not exactly dollar bin, but dollar bin, drum and bass, dubstep, anything else that's getting me going these days. So let's get going. We're starting with probably the last dubstep video I'll do for a little bit, but there for sure will be some more coming. The last couple dubstep videos were one batch I bought off of a dealer on Discogs, so that's usually how I'm doing it these days. Is I'm buying 20 records at budget, trying to save on that shipping cost, but I keep it always under $4. The whole theory is I shouldn't have to pay more than $2 a tune at the absolute most, and I try to keep it on the cheaper side of even that. So, the first one is this French artist Maygraves, Manygances. Never heard of him. This plate came out in 2014, but it's pretty good dubstep. It's really dubby, which I'm a big fan of. It's not overly wobbly, but it does have some of that old school wobble, that pre tear out heavy metal wobble that became so popular in the States. Definitely a great budget pickup if you like old school dubstep with that new school production. So keep an eye out for that. Next on the 10 bag record label, we have 12th Planet and EMU and Seasick. So 10 bag is a label that was run by 12th Planet, I believe. Pretty sure it's run by 12th Planet, with a UK distributor. But it's mostly LA based artists, including EMU, who was originally a Seattle artist who was really into drum and bass. I used to do production competitions with this guy back in the day. He would always beat me, with good reason, because I was never that great of a producer. But you can see he hooked up with 12th Planet here. 12th Planet was also a drum bass artist under the name Infiltrata, who released a lot of stuff with Photech. Most of you guys probably already know the name 12th Planet. He's a huge DJ in the dubstep scene. He helped bring Smog to the Smog labels and the Smog nights down in LA to Infamy. He's a great producer. He definitely makes some tunes that are not my thing, but these are early enough. These are like pre-bro step tunes where it got real ridiculous with the electro and the tear out wobbles and the Skrillex style dubstep. And these are just kind of some jammy, heady bass tunes. They definitely, you can see that starting of what is going to become of 12th Planet, but I'm definitely feeling it. And then Seasick is actually, Are You Feeling, is a pretty great tune. It's kind of got that purple sound, that purple dubstep sound, which is kind of 80s synth influenced, kind of big wobbles, but not cheesy. 100% would pick this played up if you can find it budget. I'm pretty sure I saw more than one copy of it online for at a good price. Keep your eyes out for that one. Next, we have DJ Absurd, another French artist that I'd never heard of. Also releasing in 2014. These were real dubby, like real dubby, almost like dub tunes as opposed to dubstep tunes. But they were real nice, real vibey. Something that most people want to smoke a blunt to. Got that huge bass that's gonna rattle your drink off your desk. a little generic. Like they don't like. I actually have to look at my notes for this one, so it could be a little bit generic. But if you're, on the hunt for good dubstep on vinyl and you're looking for it on the cheap, it definitely worth at least a listen. Can't find it on Spotify. Can't find anywhere else. So, right, you should be able to go. That means that it's probably worth $2. Next, we have Alone, and this is actually almost an. Oh, yeah, it's got a total of 4 tunes. Now, this is the biggest Burial ripoff I've ever heard in my entire life. I mean, you could play this in a lot of like next to Burial tunes, and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference without someone who knows like Burial's back catalog, which isn't gigantic. So true fans would know most of it. You would be like, oh yeah, that's some Burial. It's such a ripoff of Burial that I'm surprised someone released it. Now, that being said, it's also as good as Burial. Well, not as good as Burial because anything that's a ripoff is never as good as the original. But it's actually quality. But it has like the record hiss and the rain in background. I definitely think you're in that lo-fi dubstep sound. It's well worth picking up, but you got to be aware that like obviously this guy wasn't going for originality. He was just trying to make his version of Burial tunes. It is what it is. If you're cool with that, pick it up. I think all 4 of the tunes on this EP are pretty good, but the ripoffs. Next, we got Black. We've got some stuff on Black Acre. Now, I am a big fan of Black Acre. The label, they did a lot of kind of left field dubstep stuff that kind of led into like more trip hoppy, more like glitchy style stuff. Some stuff you probably wouldn't strictly characterize as dubstep. Got it super on the cheap. You can see that it originally was coming out from Chemicals, but you can see it's got a nice dollar label up there. And this one's by Akira Kiteshi, which actually is a guy from Scotland, not from Japan. So what I will say about this is exactly why I like Black Acre. Like the A side is a glitchy grime tune, not per se dubstep, but at that 140 beat, really good stuff, really interesting. Not exactly like anything like it's pretty original. I know there's other glitch step that sounds like it, but well worth a budget pickup. The B side is more heavy, distorted with a huge bass line. Definitely a little bit more dubsteppy and would definitely work in any dubstep mix, even though it doesn't always follow that dubstep, on the 3 snare sound. I really like Black Acre as a label in general. They aren't trying to set a trend. They're trying to just kind of do their own thing. At least back in the day, I think they're pretty much defunct now. But anytime I see Black Acre records and they pique my interest, and I think they should yours too. Next up, we got some Roommate in Pacific Tears. So I specifically picked this one up because it was by Roommate. Roommate is a Portland artist that I've actually played a couple shows with, at least one, down in Portland back when I DJ'd really consistently. He played up here fairly often. I always try to support those local artists. I know I picked it up used, so he's probably not getting any cash from that, but I always seek out those local artists. This one is got some, the A side's got some schizo, kind of a bunch of bass lines that don't really, kind of like 26 bass lines by Baynger, all kind of bouncing off each other. The B side is a real simple vocal with a wobbly Reese, which really to me sounds like the Pacific Northwest. Pacific Northwest has always been kind of known for, at least with their dubstep and drum bass production artists, are kind of on the more techie side. And the wobbly Reese just reminds me of all the great dubstep artists that were coming out of the Pacific Northwest in the mid to late 2000s. Really before Brostep. Pacific Northwest specifically is known for kind of help creating the Brostep sound. Shift, a label here in the States, was very influential on that. So I would pick this up. It's 2009, so it's kind of early-ish in the dubstep scene. Definitely worth your couple bucks. Good early proto dubstep stuff that I love. This is kind of the right in that mixture of the wobble and the tear out and the heavy and the dub sound that I like so much. Last but not least, we got another 10 bag release. 10 bag, the record label. On the back, you can see that we have a tune by Ultrablack and Claw and Baynger. Now, Ultrablack, I believe, became the same, kind of hooked up with Claw and became Ultra Claw. Anyways, they're stateside artists. They're both from Arizona, if I remember correctly. They also were kind of that early proto tear out Brostep style that like the Pacific Northwest really kind of started to invent, and Skrillex took it to the next level and made dubstep something that everyone knew the name of. That being said, this is a great mashup. It's actually pretty minimal. It's got a mashup of breaks that I really like. It's dark and it's kind of tear out bass, but not in a cheesy way, not in a over the top heavy metal way. Feeling this one. The Baynger, I don't know much about Baynger. Roll heavy, got some interesting horn samples in it, some decent percussion sounds, but it's kind of a generic dubstep tune even for that time. Nothing wrong with that, because sometimes generic's what you need, and not everything can be a tear out tune and a club smasher. Once again, one that's worth a couple dollars for sure if you're trying to kind of capture that early dubstep sound. Anyways, that's all I got for tonight. If you dig what I'm doing, make sure to like and comment for more reviews. Let me know if you're digging the dubstep, more drum and bass. Let me know what you want to see me doing. Thanks.